Good, let's just get started then. So today we are starting with the Queen, which, no, fun name. Who played Moira and Mercy, said, I don't know what else I could have done. Kept healing and healing and healing. Was it a positional issue? Was he trying to do too much damage? Was I not looking around enough? I'm not sure what the issue was. So we'll take a look at your gameplay. So you're playing, you start on Mercy, which is fine. You got an Ana to kill your tanks, which usually means you can focus on pocketing your DPS. You don't have great DPS to pocket, but it should be good regardless. Like McCree can do decent damage, like 140 times 3 is 42, so 182 damage from McCree if you boost him, which is pretty considerable. Genji can farm blade faster. They are not great targets to pocket, but they are decent enough. And of course, keeping Yana alive is a priority, so that Urana can heal your tanks for you. And make sure that this is, well, every patch it gets changed. Alright, number 5. So just pocketing your McCree, which is fine, using cover is decent. You can remember that you can also do like Reinhardt is pretty decent to pocket if he's cleaving through multiple people. Because while he does 85 damage, right? If he's doing 85 damage to multiple people, then that becomes, well, 170. And if you boost that, it's like 211. Or 201? 200, no, it's like 211. So it can get, for Reinhardt, it can scale really fast when he's cleaving multiple people. He's not in this case, but when your Vayne is in the middle of the fight, he can be even more valuable than your McCree and your Genji. If you have like an Ashe or an Echo, they can still output more damage than Reinhardt and more consistently. But with McCree and Genji, you can just pocket your Rhine. Don't worry about healing your tanks, you could be getting more value just with your DPS. Because, again, if your tanks are not in grave danger and Urana is looking at them like she was, like Urana was right here looking at your Reinhardt, no reason to heal your Reinhardt. Like, again, why that? Right? Like, I've mentioned this before, you don't have to top off your tanks. Unless one of your tanks is about to die, you don't have to top them off. You've got an entire Ana right here who can heal your tank. She's literally hard focusing your Reinhardt. You help your DPS out, which is fine, though again, you shouldn't be healing, because he's got full health, so you should be damage boosting. Good fire strike though, like good power on the fire strike, then you swap back to McCree. Now you can swap back to Ryan when he goes aggressive, because the enemy is getting close. Not right now, when he goes aggressive, right? Like, right now, if you do it right now, he's doing that nothing, unless he fire strikes. But when the enemy gets close, especially in this kind of tight choke, your Vayne is gonna get a ton of value. Top of the McCree, which is fine, just get away from the monkey. And the Vayne is in, right? Now would be a good time to be like, look, he's swinging a Diva, a monkey who just died. The Hanzo was close. You could be damage. Again, if Vayne is consistently hitting 2 or 3 people, he's doing 170 damage per swing, which is more than both of your DPS can do. You have to put your Genji, which is fine. Again, topping off your DPS is okay. That's far, it's been pretty solid. Like, you've had some mistakes about when to heal, when to damage, and the targets, like, again, you have basically no reason to heal Ryan unless he's about to die. Or Sigma, even. Sigma should be for the bike though, so not that big of an immediate worry, but still. Overall, I feel like you haven't made any big mistakes. You could be maximizing your value more by, you know, again, stop hitting your tanks, damage push your Rhine more in combat. And a monkey. Good flags from your monkey, actually, from your Sigma, not monkey. I think this pack is decent. You should be power boosting though. We won anyway. And so, like, overall, pretty solid. Like, that's far, and you guys are full holding thus far, so I'm not surprised. That you should not have a Guardian Angel that, but it's okay. Why not? Because you expose yourself, right? Like, and I usually say this, you don't have to Guardian Angel if it's unnecessary. Yes, your Genji is far forward and you come to help him, which is okay. But look at this Guardian Angel, right? Why? Just stay behind cover. You don't need to go to the high ground. You are safe here. And if they had, like, maybe McCree and Deco just happen to both hit you at the same time, with like a 100 damage left click and the rocket, or just stickies or whatever, you could have died while you poked out of cover. No reason to do that. Again, it's not a huge mistake, but that's why your team has been just full holding, so I don't have a lot to say other than you could be damage boosting your DPS more, rather than focusing on heal your tanks who don't really need it, because you have an Ana, who's basically just hard pocketing them. Now you should be going back. Take it. Solid. Genji's blading, but we don't really, like, we have nano, so you don't have to pocket him, and they use Tran, so you really don't want to pocket him. You're here now? Okay, good. Too long don't read thus far. You've healed your Ryan a little bit, and when you shouldn't have, but other than that, it's been pretty solid. Oh, and you super jumped once, exposing yourself when you shouldn't have, but it's been okay. It hasn't been, like, it's been pretty solid. How does your Ryan die? Because we have nano. Oh, he just gets deleted. Wow. Your Ana should have none of them. This is not on you. Like, yeah, you can, in theory, heal your Reinhardt. But it's not like he's in mortal danger, right? And we should have just nanoed him instead. I think he just gets right-clicked by Zenyatta. Like, Discord right-clicked by Zenyatta. Oh, he runs face first into D.Va. So now you could have healed him, but he went from 300 to 100 health really fast. And I don't know why your Ana didn't nano him. You should have. Oh, he was out of line of sight. So that's mostly your right. You can maybe go for the rest. So we are even. You break line of sight with your Sigma, which, okay. So I'm guessing that this wasn't meant for you. I'm guessing it was meant for your Sigma. Yeah, your Ana was just trying to nano Ryan. Yeah. No, actually, it may have been meant for you because she had no line of sight with the Sigma. So what I was gonna say is, if you get nano like this, you can go for the rest. Like, you have enough time to just go for the rest. You are not gonna die because you're a nanoed Mercy. You're difficult to hit. She was hit for the Sigma. She did not even have line of sight in the Sigma. Like, maybe she, like, here could have been okay. But then they break line of sight, and Sigma is going to be out of line of sight this entire time. Maybe she thought Sigma would be on this side, but, you know, distance clearly tells us he's gonna be behind the thing. So, definitely feels like either she made a big mistake or she went for it. On the other case, with this nano, you can go for the rest. In fact, I would say you should go for the rest. Not anymore, of course, but the big deal is, if you get the rest on the Reinhardt here, we have Shatter, they have no shields, we can just win the fight. Even if you die, so long as you rest the Reinhardt, it's probably worth it. You can come back fast, you have a full HP main tank, right? I think you have time too. Like, when you get nano, you can probably make it. Like, the Reinhardt's body is right here. You can probably just take a step forward and guard the engine to it. And Genji's on the backline, so you even got some kind of support. Is it a big mistake? I don't think it's a big mistake. I think you could just make I think you could use this nano to make the best of a bad situation where she clearly should not have nanoed you. Also heal your Ana. Yeah, solid. Heal your Kree, overall, pretty solid. Top of Genji, and we may still hold this fight actually. Your Mercury gets killed, which is unfortunate, but your run is back and now it's very winnable. Heal your Genji, solid. Unlucky, you can rest that though. You can rest this. D.Va has no micro, D.Va has no boosters. You can rest that. You can definitely rest that. If you went for it, you could have. And your is still alive. I get that you want to save your Sigma though. Oh, now you go for it, okay. Oh, you don't go for it? That took you worse. That took you a very long time. Like, you get the rest, but you let D.Va's cooldowns come back. That's not a major mistake. The Soldier, yeah, but like Soldier also is being bothered by this, and he's going out, not going in. He's very low on HP. Like, see, he's being shot. He's not gonna poke you. Like, he's literally not here anymore. So, like you see him when you turn around too, alright? Don't you? Like, you see that he's right there, but he's very far away, and you can use this as cover. You got the engine to the body, and you can see that you're in cover. Right here, you're in cover. He's got to run all the way, shoot at you. Did you get scared thinking that the soldier was gonna come get you? I think you could have got this res. It's a... I think the biggest thing is that you give D.Va enough time to get her cooldowns back. Rather than Soldier. D.Va can do just as much damage as Soldier in 1 second. If she's got her cooldowns. But you wait for the D.Va to come back. And the Soldier is actually even closer now. But you know what, you still get the res, so it may still be a winnable fight, yeah. We actually won that fight anyway. The one thing I've quote-unquote noticed is that you seem a little bit reluctant to just go for the rest. Just go for the rest. Helping your Rhino solid, back is solid, it's like 30 seconds left. Hitting your Rhino is okay because your Rhino has no line of sight, and you know, all of that. You change your heal your Rhino, you heal back your Rhino, this is good, you just make D.Va, should be okay. Solid. How do we lose this? How do we actually lose this? Because at this point, you guys have just won. And they got Shatter, and they got a Copy and Nano? Damage using Rhine is okay. You try to heal your Rhine, but he's a little far and he dies. This is still... Hey, what situation would you super jump press? I don't know how to do it, but I never for the situation. Depends on a lot of things, but mostly if they have no hitscan, you can just always do it. The biggest danger when you super jump is hitscan or long range damage heroes. Like in this case, against Junkrat Echo, you could probably do it. Unless Echo has like all of her cooldowns, in which case she can push you down. But against Junkrat Echo, most likely you can do it. Anywho. Does your run Shatter into the backline and go too far forward? This is Shatter, he just got no follow-up. No way you can save that though. Like, you try, but... No way you can save that. Go inside to hide. Go around. Save your run. If you keep your run alive, this may be winnable. Okay, we don't. Which is unfortunate. We just get shattered. Do it if you're in Rhine swing range. If you're in anyone's swing range, you should just do it as well, like. You mess up your super jump. Here? Or here? Oh, here. I don't think you did, you just got shattered before you used it. You are not close enough yet to do the super jump. If you meant the one before, then yes, but it wasn't as big a deal. Like here, you didn't crouch when doing the thing, but it's okay. And here you did, but, you know, there's a million things. I don't know if you knew, by the way, your target being moved out of the way will interrupt your super jump. So or make it a lot more difficult, rather. So even then, it's like, very difficult to make that. I don't think that was a quote-unquote big mistake. So again, the one thing I do not know is why you're going to Diana. But it's okay. Double shatter the team, okay. And we just lose this. And overall, I feel like on this fight, we could have won if we supported the Rhine and we got 2 picks early, but they just used their ults and we didn't counter it. If you wanted to go for a hero play, you could have rested the Rhine. Like, try to rest the Rhine. not now, but on the flyback. Now the Echo is going forward and slap. That could have been the hero play. I don't think it was the right idea, I will say that. I think you would have gotten deleted. Anyway, yeah, they just used several ultimates and we got our fine feats. Unfortunate, but you know, you're actually pretty solid. Yeah, don't be afraid to go for risky rests if they win you the game. If they will win you the fight, especially because on fights that are already lost anyway. Not on fights where there's literally no one left, right? If you're facing a single person in the middle of 6 people, that's bad. You're just staggering them again. But if it's like a 3v5 and you think you can maybe get the difference, especially if it's someone like a main tank who comes up with a lot of health, right? Because tanks are very big. I can make a big impact in the fight, much more than you can, unfortunately, right? That's the thing with the Mercy. So if you manage to rest the Rhine, maybe the fight would have been winnable. Even if you died for it. And here's the thing. Was the fight winnable without your Rhine? I think yes, but I think the Rhine could have given your team more impact than you without your ultimate and on the backline of the enemy. So overall, I think that sometimes you've got to go for those weak resets, even if you get punished sometimes, right? Especially until Masters, they will not punish you as hard either, because there will not be great team coordination, so if a single person shoots you, you're not very likely to die in like the 1 second they'll see the rest. Especially because if you do it like away from them, they got to get close. Unless they got hitscan. Hitscan is the one thing that can actually screw up your rests, because hitscan can just, oh, there's a Mercy res in here, I pop. But if they have no hitscan, yeah, just go for or Hanzo. Hitscan or Hanzo. Hanzo kinda guns. That's hitscan. At least decent answers. Don't know how to push my limits? Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is this, especially when you're already in a losing fight, and you've got no win conditions because no one in your team had any ultimates to use. How are you gonna win if you don't go for risky plays, right? If you're 3v4, or even 4v4, but the enemy is copying and has nano, right, and has just used nano, they have an advantage because they are using ultimates. So you need to try to get the advantage back. At that point, you are just losing the fight. It's not lost yet, because even though they're using ultimates, it's still like 4v4 or 3v4 or whatever, or 4v5. But if your team has no win condition, you've got to go for a reach play. Like, you can create a win condition with Mercy, which is, if the fight is a 4v4, now we are 5v4 and we're winning, even if they have ultimates, right? Even if you die for the rest and you get the rest and die, suddenly the enemy team has 100 HP Reinhardt in their backline. Your resources triple because your health left is basically 400, right? Like, let's just go for health. Ignore the Sigma shield for now, but 200, 225, 100, 200. So it's like 1,000. Then suddenly you got a 2,000 HP and barrier tank in the middle of the enemy team. You are literally doubling or tripling your team's resources when you bring a Reinhardt or even a Monkey. Especially because it's literally behind the enemy, so they can pincer the enemy too. It's a really good, even if you die, it's like a really good play. And if you talk about trading your Mercy for Reinhardt, Mercy has 200 HP, no damage, small healing, good damage boost, right? But you don't have great damage boost heroes. Like, when you have Genji, at least you could Vibe Blade or Boost Blade, but you don't even have Genji anymore, so it's like, do I trade Mercy, who does no damage, for a Reinhardt who does a ton of damage, has a ton of HP, a big freaking shield, right? It seems like a good trade on paper, and it really is a good trade. So, too long to read, just go for the plays. Especially when your damage boost is not as good. Like, when you had a Genji, maybe you could make the argument, well, we played a boost, but Ryan is just incredibly important. Yeah, that's it. Another thing is that Mercy is really good at furthering an advantage, but she's also like really bad at coming back from a disadvantage without the rest. Like, Mercy's best quality is that she enables her team, right? You can keep Diana alive, you can boost people, but if your team is losing a fight, then you are not gonna make the difference with Mercy. It's going to be a lot more difficult because, again, Mercy's value scales with the team's value. So if your team is getting a ton of value, Mercy is really good. If your team is dead or just not getting value, Mercy cannot really do a lot. So considering that in a losing fight you're already losing, right? You're already on the down low. Your value diminishes. Like, for each person in your team that dies, your value diminishes. So trading your life for someone else's is probably fine. Especially if it's someone that can win a fight, like Ryan, Chris, someone with an ultimate. And you. Yeah. So again, if you are literally by yourself against 5 people, don't rest someone because that's not gonna make a difference. You're just staggering the other person. But yeah, like, if a fight is lost, but trading for like your Reinhardt or maybe a Genji with a blade, or like if you have like a God Widow just popping heads, maybe resting the God Widow will allow the Widow to get 2 picks and trade the fight, something like that. Okay. Unfortunate. Was there no way you could carry the Angel to? Oh, you could have definitely gone forward to carry the Angel to Rhine. That's very unlucky. Man. Well, how did your Widow die? That's the first big mistake, right? I haven't seen any big mistakes until now. Yeah, you could have rested Rhine, you could have rested Genji earlier. You could be like not healing your Vine as much. Like, there was one time where your Vine was building a D.Va and very low HP and you just held healing. That was good. But other than that, sometimes your Vine was missing like 100 health and then I was shooting at him and we healed him anyway. It's small things though, right? This is the first big mistake I've seen. How does this kill your Widow though? Because you were even going forward and you just go back. Oh, it has just the perfect angle. That's a really good bomb. And now you just go Moira, which is fine. You top off your team, you kill your Sigma, your Ana dies, which does she just get deleted by a torture headshot? Yeah, she was just deleted by a torture headshot. You thought you'd land in the path with the rest of the team was? Yeah, just look at the bomb, especially because you can see the bomb moving through the map. You can keep track of it for like 1 second and then you will already know where it will explode. At least, like, the more you play, the more experience you get, the more you can notice that the bomb was flying this way, so it would have probably landed like here or here or here. So going around, but it's just a matter of experience. Anywho, don't worry about that Ana, she peeked out and got headshot by Torture. That's not your fault. Your Ryan's out there though, right? Where is your Ryan? Oh, your Ryan's coming back, never mind. You go to contest, which if no one is going to, you may as well. But the one thing I'll say is that you should always try to get behind the enemy team when you try to contest like this. Because staying in front of the enemy team is just... You try to touch, yeah, I get it, but... If you are going to commit to touching, which I'm okay with you committing to touch, just go behind the enemy team. I'm okay with you committing to touch. Did you actually touch? I think you didn't. Did you? You did touch. You did touch. So what you do here is you just go behind the enemy team, like over here, for example. You crouch and you throw the healing orb, which I think you have the healing orb. You don't have the healing orb, which is unfortunate. But the big thing is that if you go like behind the enemy team, they have to turn around to get you. And if they turn around, your team can come in. That's generally how it works. Like, if you create a distraction behind them, like, usually I would say just hide behind the payload. You'll see a lot of people do it, but in this case, there's a turret on the payload. Like, you actually bought enough time for your Vine to be here, right? Your Vine managed to touch because you touched, and they still haven't capped the point. So that was good. I just think you should have maybe ended up here, wait for your orb, which is on a 2-second cooldown, heal, come back to the fight. Mostly just because, well, now you're here, and the end, like, if I just do this, you can see that you are literally in the middle of literally where the whole enemy team is looking, right? You don't want to end here. You want to end like here, maybe here, maybe here. Again, not a huge deal, and it's very nitpicky, it's like very situational. But if you go to touch, you want to end up in a position where the enemy has to look away from your team to actually get you. You're gonna die here, right? 8 HP, no healing orb. Yeah. And again, it's very situational. Like, it's not every day that you're going to have to touch. But if you got like Moira or Lucio to touch, going behind the enemy team is just pretty much accepted as better.
That changes my thinking.
Okay, Urania dies. You can be your Sigma life though. Yeah, that's good. Pretty solid. Sack the Diva for health. Healing orb is fine. Diva should not be trying to kill you. This is good for you. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now come back to your team. Damage orb is okay. Like, the one thing I don't like is that if they go forward, you will not have your healing orb. So, I think it's okay, but you probably should have just healed orb instead or saved your orb. But it's okay. It will help you build coalescence faster. Oh, how did that get you? That's unfortunate. Healing orb immediately? Yep. Even here, we are still fine. Oh, right. Pop call. Just pop it. Okay, no, you're fine. You're maybe winning. I would just, by the way, even though I think you are maybe winning, like they are down 2 people, you are down 1, you would still use coalescence. It charges so fast. You literally just got it in one fight. Just whenever you have to, whenever you think maybe it's not winnable, just pop coalescence. I would just pop coalescence. Yeah, that's fine. Just secure the fight. We've got ultimates for next fight anyway. And coalescence charges really fast. Yeah, that's okay. Like, don't be afraid. Like, even if you got like 3 seconds left on the orb, or even 2 seconds left, just pop coalescence. I know if you have like 1 second or no cooldown, throw your orb before. But yeah, coalescence is more than fine. Coalescence is one of those ultimates you can just use to secure a fight win. Even if it's already like 5v4, you can use coalescence to make sure we win. No one uses another ultimate, because we use coalescence, so we should win. And you keep the other ultimates. And coalescence charges so fast anyway. Healing orb for your McCree, solid. He died anyway. Not your fault. You panic out with Moira and I know if you do it right. I hate it. No, I mean, sorry. Let me rephrase. Panic out with Moira is fine. You can use coalescence whenever. But I was talking about the queuing to the best region thing I hate, because I should play in NA even though I'm in South America. Anywho, you lose your ult and die immediately on getting a value. That's the unfortunate thing. The one thing with coalescence you've got to keep in mind is that you got a very big range and a lot of speed. So what you can do with coalescence is, if you coalescence here, you can go back if you think that your team needs healing. Heal your team, then go forward, right? Or go back, heal yourself because coalescence heals you, then go forward. It is an 8-second ultimate. It's a very long ultimate. So being safe is really important if you're on low on health. And you can just go away with because you have such big speed. So yeah, don't be afraid to use coalescence and back out. Because distance is actually really, really big on coalescence. You don't need to be close to get people with it. Your Sigma went. I was gonna say you Sigma is in the high ground, you probably should use your orb, but we don't. That's a great ultimate from your answer. You try to keep Hanzo alive, you don't manage. Healing orb is good. Contest the payload, that's solid. Oh, you died. You will fade. You should have faded. Like when you go low here, just fade. Just fade out. I get that maybe you were afraid of C9ing. You didn't expect to be killed that fast? Okay, that's fair. That D.Va's also solo. You could have melee the D.Va and demake the D.Va. Yeah, you just get deleted, unfortunate. This should still be winnable though, right? Like, if someone, yeah, your tanks are coming back to contest and we should be good. You're doing a good job of contesting the payload when it's necessary. Overall, your game, I think your Moira gameplay has been pretty solid. No big mistakes thus far. Yeah, just get behind the enemy. At least, like, again, not every time. Like, you don't want to be on a random fight and just be like, oh, I'm behind them now, because then they will just turn around and kill you. But it's really good for payload situations where you have to stall, because they got to turn around, it gives your team more time to come back. Solid, solid. Healing orb or damage orb, use one of your orbs, just to chase your ultimate. But we should be able to follow him here. Good call, Essence. Like, again, you have 3 seconds left on it, or 2 seconds left on the orb. Do you think this Diamond tanks Moira, though? Diamond tanks Moira? What do you mean? No, actually I was saying, like, your call, Essence. I was actually going to compliment you because it's overtime. Diamond tanks Moira, like, you were playing with Diamond tanks? Oh, Diamond ranks, gotcha. Yeah, definitely, it's good enough. The thing with Moira is that a lot of her value at higher ranks comes from positioning, being safe, charging coalescence really fast. Moira is not a character with really important mechanic tricks until you get to like mid to high masters where you need to learn the fate jumps. But until then, I think your Moira is more than good enough. And I was actually going to say, I'm okay with you not waiting the 3 seconds for the orb, because we're in overtime. Like, you don't need to, and you can just use coalescence, secure the fight. Just clear the point. Yeah. Okay. You actually only lost like 1 fight when you were playing Moira, and it was the fight where you tried to touch the point. So your Moira was actually decent to very good. We'll see how it goes in attack. But on defense, yeah, I think that was pretty solid. Damage orb is okay, kill your team, that's fine. Remember that if someone is safe, you can tap instead of spray, not a huge deal. I would go with a D.Va. Oh, sorry. I would just fade in with a D.Va to keep her alive against Roadhog. Because she's gonna die otherwise, right? Especially because, again, you have a Baptiste to heal Reinhardt, so now you can just go off with your D.Va. You did? Okay, good. Solid, solid. Healing orb. Recharge resource, healing. Okay, I think that's pretty solid. This is where the craziness happens though. We'll see how that goes. Healing orb, just throw it out there. Like, coalescence charges really fast, we already have all of them. How many times you saw the D.Va get hooked? We'll look. Hold on. Let's go at the very beginning. That should have been 1. There's 1 though. Body blocking the... I thought she was body blocking the Roadhog, and that was really smart. And then she just went out of the way, which, you know, and wasted macro missiles. 2. 3. 4. Did not go for the remake kill. 5. Okay, let's go back to you, but that was 5 things in 5 hooks. She got hooked 5 times in 24 seconds. Which, you know. Okay. On the main world though, like you've been doing good, you've just been farming coalescence, doing a little damage for... The one thing I'll say... the one thing I'll say is, remember you can, if you're doing damage to recharge your resource, you can tap the button, the damage button, because you're playing console, right? You can tap the damage button to just get a little bit of resource faster, rather than holding it. Oh, you are. You actually are. I think. It looks like you are. Yeah. Don't know about the damage orb, but I'm okay with it. By the way, the reason I'm okay with this damage orb is not the Rothog, it's the fact that it's going to bounce all around these and the enemy is fighting on the choke. So you can definitely just get a lot of value with it, even if it doesn't like get a lot of value on the Rothog, right? Like that was a really good orb. It actually did a lot of value, and not because of the Rothog, but because of the mess behind it. And now you just have coalescence. You can actually, like, at one point, 1 second, just wait for the orb, coalesce. Good job, like, yeah, we just won this. We should at least just win this. Don't hard focus the Rhine. Okay, we should still win this. The thing with coalescence is that while yes, it can go through shields, it has only 70 damage per second, right? It's not a lot of healing, it's 140 healing per second. But it's a lot better at killing squishies than killing tanks. So, unless the tanks are really low, or like, if your Rhine is running at their Rhine, then yeah, you just coalescence your Rhine for the healing, and their Rhine for the damage, and you're just getting at 210 value per second. But if you're just going to go for the damage, go for the squishies. Like, in this case, it's not your fault that you did not get a lot of healing. Like, hold on, let me go back to the start of coalescence. Like, this was actually a pretty good coalescence. Your team just didn't push with it. Right, like you use coalescence, your Rhine is just standing there. Your Rhine never goes aggressive, just never goes aggressive. Your Rhine literally just hard shields. Literally just hard shields the window, even though you got like a single McCree. Right? And you got no value because you're... Like, the idea of coalescence, your team pushes with coalescence, we got 140 healing times 5 people, which is like... 2700 healing per second overall? Do you know how big this is? That's a lot of healing! So if your team just pushes the Rhine, we just kill the Reinhardt. But the problem, like, you got to realize, if your team is not pushing with coalescence, it's, at that point you just swap to, well, I'm going to try to kill someone. Because rather than going for the, like you do, right? You're like, I'm not doing anything right now, your team is not pushing, but then you turn around and try to go for the Reinhardt. Instead, just order Rothog. Just look at the Echo. Echo in the middle of the air is surprisingly easy to hit. You just push by yourself and get killed. Remember, it's not about pushing. Like, look at, hold on. Look at that range. Look at this range. It's insanely big, yeah, right? It's not about pushing forward, it's just about looking at the right target. It's a very long ability. In this case, like, for example, on this case, you can just go for the Echo. Because once she's up in the air, she doesn't have any pin for her team. She's already at half, right? Or Baptiste, maybe. Like, at this point, you just go, okay, I need to go aggressive, my team is not pushing. You see the Echo, you could be going for Echo right now, but you're like, moving. This is just perfect. At this point, you just go, I'll kill the Echo. Because you just kill her in 2 seconds. Instead, like, you get an awkward angle on the Reinhardt, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, but you have like a good 5 seconds left on coalescence, so you could have definitely killed Echo. And because it has such because it has such a big hitbox, it is actually really easy to track targets with it. Like, you don't have to be a great tracker to hit a lot of people with it, or a single person even. So again, you can go aggressive with it, but that doesn't mean physically you have to get closer. Because it's got such a big range, you got to make you got to take advantage of that range. Like, how far in are we? 12 minutes? Alright, I'll show you. Like, out of the blue, without a prompt, how long do you think Coalescence actually is? Moira.
Science will reveal the truth. Regenerating your cellular structure.
This is gonna take longer than I thought.
I need to recharge. Carry out. This will restore you.
This is a lot faster.
Double kill. Allow me. My will made real. Shin Shin.
So much shot, but no, I meant how long as in distance, not it is 8 seconds. Coalescence is 8 seconds. But I meant in distance. How long do you think it is in distance? Like, if I stand here, do you think I can hit with Coalescence? Yeah, it's 30 meters. I just want to put it in distance. Like, do you think you can hit this? Just looking at it? Because the actual range is all the way back here. This is the range of Coalescence.
My will.
It's insanely long. It's all the way back here. This is the range of Coalescence. It's very long, like... It goes on for a while. You don't need to get close to hit people with Coalescence. You can stay literally further away than a Rotok hook, which is known for being very long. I think Rotok is 25 meters.
Ready for battle.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to play at the max range. But having the notion that it is actually very, very long can just change things for you in how you use it. Because you can still target individual people with it or try to go aggressive without having to get right in their faces. Which, you know, if you get right in their faces, you can get CC. Actually, they don't have any CC. Well, yeah, they have hook. But you can get CC'd, you can get shattered, just burst down. But if you stay back, it's like a lot harder to hit you. You are constantly healing. You do the same damage and healing from that range. It's like a cheat ability, honestly. That should be a healing orb. Okay, that's unfortunate. You still got out, but you didn't fade it away in time. So what happened here, we just used both support ultimates, we got no value out of them, then they came back with ultimates, right? So...
Help me. I need assistance.
It's not only on you, it's on your whole team, but... That's just very unfortunate. If you use both support... Like, support ultimates are actually fight-winning ultimates. If you use both support ultimates, you should expect to win the fight. They are like, again, they are here to enable the team, right? Like, Lucio has Beat, which is a lot of healing, well, shields. Transcendence, Rally, even Valkyrie is like, okay, we need to go aggressive to get value out of Valkyrie. They are really good at enabling the team. But if your team does nothing with it, then that's very unfortunate. In fact, I think Coalescence maybe, well, Coalescence and Window, maybe the only ones that actually allow you to do anything as a support. Transcendence and Beat, they just are for your team. Valkyrie is just for your team, Rally is just for... Well, it's for everyone, including you, but like Coalescence does damage, and Window allows Baptiste to just pop heads. Okay, healing over your Rhine, that's okay. We go for a Shatter, Shatter was late, but we still should get the kills, right? This could be a good damage orb. Why? Because damage orb through the window is double, right? Any projectile and damage orb and healing orb are projectiles. So I would just throw the damage orb this way. Do you?
I'm under attack.
You do. Which is like, does he get Baptiste? Oh, that's that's just bad. That's just mean. 400 damaging orb and Reaper? That's just mean. We win this fight though, right? Yeah. One big thing, by the way. These two cannibalize each other a lot. if you got Baptiste, Moira, like the big deal with both of them is that they got a lot of healing for the team, but there's a cap on how much healing you can provide. Not literally a cap, but your team is not going to take infinite damage, so it's not like both of you are going to get max resources. So don't worry if you charge Coalescence a little slower than Bab, that just means that Bab is doing more healing or getting to your team first. It's not that big a deal. Damage will be fine.
Is my will.
And the good thing is that now you have Coalescence for next fight. Just heal your Diva, and as soon as we're ready to go, we can just Coalescence. Coalescence in. Unlucky. There's an Echo Bob, be careful. Orvin to Co, which is fine. This is okay. I'm okay with the issues of Co, even though, like, they ended up using 3 ultimates, that's still good. Trading a single Coalescence for 3 ultimates is pretty good, and now we can just lose the fight and win the next one. Like, you use Coalescence, which forced Copy because Echo was about to die, forced Valkyrie because Echo was about to die, and forced Window because Echo was about to die. Everyone just panicked and clicked Q, and that's really, really good. I mean, we should definitely just regroup. I don't know what this Echo is doing. 20 HP. 27 HP, sorry. In front of Moira. Baptiste. Let's debug the Reaper. Let's debug the Reaper instead. Okay.
Touch from afar. You see me, allow me.
Good healing. Good shot or two. Don't. You cannot break this lamp. You don't. Just forget about the lamp. It's got 150 health. You do like 50 damage a second. It's gonna take you 3 full seconds to break it by yourself. I just don't. Just focus on your team instead. If someone else breaks it, that's good. Your damage is not good enough to break lamp. Like, you could have saved your Reinhardt instead. You had faith to follow him if you needed to, which you did, right? Your Ryan is going very aggressive, so you can just follow him with Fade. That's the one thing you can do with Moira that Baptiste cannot do. You can just fade behind your Ryan. Like, this Ryan is not going to chase you. He doesn't even have a Lucio. So it's like you can just fade past your Ryan, past their Ryan, behind your Ryan when he's going aggressive, and save him. Okay, your Baptiste gets hooked. This is a lost fight, by the way. It was very winnable, we just didn't win it. It doesn't entirely come down to you wasting 3 seconds on the lamp. Maybe you could have saved your Ryan, so maybe it could be a winnable fight, but in the end it was very close. I do think that you should have gone at your Ryan though. Healing God for the Diva, healing God for the Diva, okay, good. Get out from your Reaper, okay, forget about that. Kill your... never mind. The healing God was decent. You fade a little late from the stickies. And overall, how do I think you're doing? I think you're doing okay. I think you could be getting more value. For sure, like... following your Reinhardt, healing your Diva earlier, healing your... who died? Reaper earlier. How much earlier? Maybe like half a second? Could that have saved them? Yes, actually. So it's like... it's not a huge deal, but... like, you're not the reason we are losing these fights. The reason we are losing these fights is that we're never actually regrouping. We are just basically like... oh, well, we are... right now, we are 4v6. Right? 4.5 if you want to count Diva as someone. But they just have like, well... again, 5. Let's say 4v5. Let's just keep feeding into a fight we are losing. With Reinhardt, do I know it's safe to follow him? You don't. You just don't. You got to rely on your the words. You've got to rely on your Rhine getting value. But the thing is, if your Rhine dies, the fight is a lot less likely to be winnable. So sending a hold on, let's go back. Like while you're doing this, your Rhine is going aggressive. He got 2 people on the back. Well, he actually only got 1 people on the Rhine, on the back line. But like, we could have saved them. If you were here already healing him, and if you had just faded instead of trying to break the lamp, maybe your Rhine survives, right? That's a big thing. If your Rhine survives, even though he's this far away from your team, you can be like, okay, with Reinhardt, we can maybe distract 3 people for a little while, kill the Reinhardt, push forward, help a Rhine. Even let's say you die and the Rhine dies, it's still most likely going to be a lost fight. You're not going to win without your Reinhardt, right? Like the fight is even. We each lost 1 person. If you're and they have a Reinhardt and a healer, you're not gonna win this fight. Unless, again, someone just pops off. And then we just kill the Rhine, and it's like, okay, but they have rest. They're now 1 person up, and it's like, if we could have had Rhine here, we could have won this fight for sure. And now we have no of this, and you know. Children don't read, like, keeping your Rhine alive, or with Mercy, bringing your Rhine back, is very important. Rhine is, as a main tank, he's the one that can create and contest a lot of space for a very long time. You don't really have anyone else in your team who can do that. Like, D.Va is not great at contesting space for a long time. She's really good at clearing space, right? If there's like a single DPS, D.Va can clear the space. But if then like Roadhog comes to contest, D.Va has to drop. So she's good at clearing but not contesting. Ryan is really good at contesting space. He can go forward with the shield, swing at the space, right? Create space and contest space. And you don't really have anyone else in your team who can do that. Yeah, McCree and Reaper are close range DPS, but that doesn't mean they can clear space and contest space like Reinhardt can. They just get deleted in front of the entire enemy team. So you actually need the right to create the space for your Reaper and your McCree going forward and whatnot. So it's like, especially when you have a Rhine and no other hero that can contest space, you just... No, sorry, you're number 5. You just need to help him. Because your team basically lives or die with Reinhardt. Unless someone just pops off and gets 3 kills, if your Rhine is dead, you're not gonna win the fight. Again though, like if you had, like let's say you had a Sigma or an Orisa up here, right? Then you don't have to follow your Rhine because you still have heroes that can contest in space. In Sigma, Orisa, Roadhog maybe. Even Monkey can kinda contest space. Not as good. Like Monkey's a lot better at contesting high ground spaces, like vertical spaces. But like Rhine, Monkey, Orisa, they cannot contest space on the low ground. And it's okay, but when you have like D.Va or Wrecking Ball, mostly, it's not as good. Like you don't have anyone to push forward with your team. Okay, so use Coalescence here, which I'm actually okay with this Coalescence. And then you get Shattered. And again, you would not have gotten Shattered if you were playing further back or around the corner. The Rhine is making space, getting value, don't follow them. Yeah. In this case, I will say this. Note for this Reinhardt, the Reinhardt is playing overly aggressive. He's constantly charging into their backline, like he did the same thing over here, right? Where he's shattered and just charged into the backline. But like if your Rhine dies, the fight is probably lost. Unless he got 3 picks, or at least someone else in your team gets 3 picks. So, even if your Rhine is over aggressive, keeping him alive or resurrecting him is going to get a ton of value, just because he's Reinhardt. Which, if I were to analyze this Reinhardt player, I would be like, dude, you're feeding. But I'm not analyzing your Rhine, I'm analyzing you. Yeah, I think with Moira, the most consistent thing is just, yeah. Why did I circle this? Stay further back with Coalescence. Good faith, though. Good kill on the Echo. And this, again, could be a good damage orb. Okay, well, forget about the Roadhog. Should have thrown the damage orb earlier through the window, because again, double damage. You run against goes for an aggressive shatter, and almost dies to it. Kill your Reaper, kill your Reaper, kill your Reaper. Fade away, fade behind. Again, fading behind your Rhine is probably the right idea. Yeah, that's solid. Then your healing orb. See what I mean when I say your Rhine is overly charge happy? But you are doing good fading behind him every time, so that's pretty solid. That's basically what you do, right? Your Rhine goes aggressive, you can fade behind him. Your Rhine comes back, you can fade behind him. Fade allows you to go a long distance without taking any damage, so it's like you can follow anyone around. That's why Moira is played like you probably saw Nia goes. Moira's one ability that allows her to move around the map is Fade, and because she can take no damage, it's like a gate out of jail free, and combine that with her AoE and her coalescence, you can basically, you are like the most mobile support after Lucio, of course. Mercy requires other people to go to. Lucio and Moira can just go wherever they want. Which is also why at higher ranks, Fade jumps become a lot more important. Fade back into your team, now, oh, unlucky Fade, healing over to coalescence. Okay, I'm okay with this coalescence. Again, you're still too close though, like, you have a Reinhardt in your face, just get out. Yeah, you just died with coalescence, which is unfortunate. But you should have coalescence and then just backed out. Even with you using coalescence, even though we lost one, you were like, I can save Reinhardt. Use the emo, but the problem with emo is that emo breaks and you cannot fade away. So at this point, when you pop coalescence, you can just start coalescing back. Right? But you don't go back. You stay here. But again, you've like a 50% movement buff. So just get out. And yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing I can tell you from your Moira gameplay. Like, get out. You don't need to be this close to lessons. Like, you could be here and doing the same. And that'll save you from this. And if someone pushes, you can just drop and go around the corner. Instead, you actually get closer. Like, yeah, Emo is there, but when Emo goes away, you're just gonna die. Striker left the shock. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, and at this point you just come back fast, I think. Good res. Like, this res could actually win you this fight because she's got ultimate. Your Macri dies, which is unfortunate. Your Ryan is slow, so you heal him. He gets the turret and then gets hooked, which is, you know, bad. And then we just lose this, right? Yeah, okay. Well, overall, on your Mercy play, mostly just, like, again, go for value reses. If you can't res Genji right away and you're not about to die, like, if there's, like, a McCree guarding the body, then don't go for it, of course. But, like, if you can judge the situation to be like, I can do this, then just go for it, like, immediately, because the more time you give the enemy, they're gonna get the cooldowns back. They're gonna have, like, a little bit of time to be like, oh, why is Mercy over there? Oh, she's planning for the rest, right? So just go for it. Even if it's risky, especially when the fight is lost. If you think it could be winnable, if you bring, like, say, your Reaper with an ultimate back, you just, even if you die, it's a trade you're willing to make. And then Moira just further back with coalescence, that's the biggest thing. There were some other small things, like, again, the orbs, but your orbs were actually pretty decent. The only thing I was worried about is that twice you did not throw them to the window when you could have, but, you know, not a huge deal. And you did it twice too, so it's like, you know about it, sometimes you just either panic or don't think about it. But overall, pretty solid. And you guys lost this game, I think. Yeah, we lost this. But I don't think it was your fault we lost the game. Do you think your Moira has gotten better? Yeah, I think your Moira has gotten a lot better, actually. Like, from the very first one we did, where you were just out of position a lot, getting caught out a lot. I think your Moira was really good. I think you could easily climb with Moira. Just focus with surviving and getting value out of Coalescence. Because again, like, let's put it this way. Moira is kind of like Genji, right? Which may sound weird, but they're both ultimate centered heroes, right? With Moira, you just want to survive and use all of your resources as much as you can, as often as you can, to get your ultimate really, really fast, then just go in with it. Not physically go in with it, but like herd your team in, and if they don't go in, then you just kill people if you can. So yeah, Moira is basically an ultimate base hero. You've got to maximize your value by just doing as much healing as you can, and then just going with all lessons. Again, not physically, but you get what I mean. Yeah, okay. Let's take a 3-minute break, and I'll be back in like 3 minutes, chat.